started thinking a few minutes ago about what the Forge is, what we are as a group, what we are as a worship service on campus. I guess that's a common theme of what I've been thinking about for the past year and what we talked about the past couple of weeks. What are we? Who are we? Parts of me doesn't want us to just be a worship service and force you guys to come in at a certain time and sit down and be all nice and comfy in your comfy pew chair, blue chair things. They're not pews. And stand when you're supposed to stand, sing when you're supposed to sing. And does it bother me that that we wander in late? No. Does it bother me when we have our guest musician that shows up at 6:30 for our 6 o'clock worship service? That happened once in January. Yes and no at the same time. We realized we did worship at least 6 different ways this year. 6 different styles of worship. All in the guise of the Forge. We say the Forge is a place, I say the Forge is a place where questions are answered and answers are questions. And I ask myself, am I actually doing that? Are we answering questions? Are we questioning the answers? Do I just get up here and ramble on and on about meaningless dribble, or is anybody actually paying attention? Yes, the answer is both. I hope somebody's paying attention. I hope you guys are getting something out of this. You keep coming back, so maybe because you're bored, you got nothing else to do on Sunday night.
The people.
So it's the people. It's the people. And that realization struck me. Yeah, it's the people. It's the Forge doesn't start at 6 o'clock. It starts at 5 when we all start hanging out in the lobby and watching people go by and doing things. Guy asked me, my roommate in Nashville was a campus minister in Clarion University up there somewhere in Pennsylvania. If you're looking at the map on your way, it's over here somewhere, whatever. And he asked me the question of how intimate or how involved is your church with your campus ministry? You know, it's intimately involved. Intimately. And because one of the tricks that the campus ministries are trying to figure out is how do you get your students to come to your church? Well, I don't get my students to come to my church. I bring church to them. It's got to be a two-way street. It's got to be you go there and they come to you at the same time. And both of you have to make the steps, right? It can't be, I can't expect you guys to just come to the Foundry just because we're a church and you should come to church. So come to our church. I don't think any of you would go. I mean, honestly, I don't think any student would darken the door of our church well, there's one student that darkened the door of our church on purpose. And,
Sarah looked back at me.
No, it wasn't you. It was Hurricane Sunday, and she just came in, and I was like, is that a student? What? And it was Hurricane Sunday. Everything closed down because of a hurricane. And I'm from the South. In the South, we have hurricanes. When they get up here, they're just bad rainstorms. And so, you don't expect, it's just crazy. You guys are weird up here. But anyway, I'm rambling again because I'm just reminiscing on this year. Because this year we've done some great things. This year, Logos became a student organization. This year, we grew from 7 students at Logos to 13 students. This year, we have fed hundreds of people with bread, or probably we've given away over thousands of loaves of bread to students. We had picnics, cookouts that fed hundreds of people. We've been able to just make an impact on this campus. People know me as the preacher guy. And I'm the preacher man. You know? And it's important that they also know who you guys are. Who the students are on this campus that follow after Christ, that are part of Logos. And where do we go from here? What's next? I don't know. I didn't even know what the heck we're going to talk about next week or this summer. I got to figure that out because I know we're going to continue. When I was a youth minister, I strived and I wanted to have times to preach, and I got one once every couple months. Now I'm preaching every week, and you run out of stuff. I can see why Chuck told the same stories 15 times. Because you run out of stories. You have to start borrowing somebody else's stories. No, that wasn't me. You know, that was probably Brian's brother. But it's all about telling the story. It's all about the story of the Forge. It's the story of the Foundry. And we've got a unique story. We've got a story no one else can tell. We got a story that is filled with friendships, families. We got a story that's filled with sitting alone in Logos. At the first Logos, it was just me and Autumn. And you know, those of you who don't know Autumn, she's not a Christian. Matter of fact, she doesn't want to be yet. And there's me, and I've heard so many stories about Autumn that before I got in there, I was like, and she was nothing. She was only half of what the story said she was. But she was twice of what I thought she was going to be. Ponder that one, noodle that one. Think about it. And we've progressed in 2 years. We've progressed. And people are looking at us, looking at this group, looking at our ministry and saying, how are you doing it? And I don't know. I'm here, I'm serving God, and I'm doing what God wants me to do, I think. And it's about people. It's not about numbers. It's not about, let's see how many people I can get in this door. Do I want 40 people in this room? Yes. Do I want 40 people? Do I want 400 people in Alumni Auditorium for our Christmas Rocks episode, concert, whatever you want to call it? Yes. Do I want 4,000 people eventually hearing me preach? No. Not in one shot. No, but maybe. Do I want to know people? Do I want us to know each other? Yes. Do I want the students to look? There's usually students are here and the Foundry is here, right? I'm not saying that's the way we designed it that way. That's just the way it happens. But do I want these people over here to talk to these people over here and seek out of their wisdom and knowledge of life, Christ, the Bible, God? Yes.
I feel flattered. I'm a student.
Do I want the students to invest in the lives of the people of the Foundry? Yes. Do I want you to come to the Foundry? Yes. Do I want you to come to do I want the Foundry to come to the Forge?
Yes.
Yes. That's called the church. Church isn't a building. The church isn't a place where we all collect and gather. The church is the people.
It's more than the people, though. It's the relationship.
It's a relationship. I've been thinking about. I've been reading about Paul. This semester, I've been journeying through the Book of Acts. And I've been looking at the life of Paul and where he came from and where he was. And how he did ministry and how he did church. And what amazes me about Paul is we growing up, going to Bible school and Sunday school and preschool and the flannel boards that they used to put up and the posters that they used to put up. I thought Paul was this superhuman Christian dude. You know, he had like a big P on his chest for Paul. You know, that wherever he went, he could get people saved just by talking about him and say Jesus. So he'd say, see, that works. You know, that was my vision of Paul. That he'd just walk into this town by himself, set up a tent making factory, build tents, and boom, we have a church. Go to the next town, go and talk to one or two people, boom, there's a church. And I thought he did this whole thing by himself. Yeah, I knew stories about Paul and Barnabas, but I thought Barnabas was just like a guest star, special guest star in the story of Paul. And Silas, you know, I thought he was just, you know, one time or two. But reading through the book of Acts, Paul was never alone. Paul never went anywhere unless he had somebody else with him. There's Paul. Everywhere there's the stories of Paul and Barnabas. Barnabas was Paul's confidant, Paul's friend, Paul's partner in ministry. And they'd go and they'd meet up with other Christians or make other Christians and join them. And then they'd go, then when Barnabas left, Paul said, hey, I need to take Silas with me. I need to take Silas with me. And if you read in the book of Acts, you start hearing phrases like, we were on a boat. Or we went here and there. And we were in this place. And we were fellowshipping with other people. And I'm like, who's the we? Well, who wrote the book of Acts? Luke. So Paul had Luke. So if you ever read the book of Acts, look for Luke. Not necessarily not necessarily saying Luke was this dude that went with Paul, but in the pronoun, we. The church this whole ministry isn't Harry Kelly being dropped in to wherever, Wagner University in Chester, PA, and say, hey, make student leaders and create a place, create a church. No one can do that. It's impossible.